Welcome to CalPortland in Redding, California. Please listen carefully to this presentation. It is designed with your safety in mind. Our goal is to ensure that you go home in the same condition that you came. Our facility is an operating cement plant with many potential hazards. This presentation will inform you of a few that you may encounter during your time here. Please pay attention and direct any questions to your CalPortland representative. Be sure to report all near hits, accidents, injuries or other hazards to company personnel. Note the following contact information for our senior safety supervisor and control room. All visitors, customers, and contractors must register at the plant office. During your time here, observe all posted rules and regulations. Be familiar with the locations of fire extinguishers, eyewash stations, and other first aid equipment. Follow all verbal instructions given by plant management or other authorized personnel. Your access is limited to designated areas only. You do not have clearance to enter anywhere else at the facility. California Proposition 65 requires us to provide warnings about significant exposures to chemicals that cause cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm. It prohibits us from knowingly discharging significant amounts of listed chemicals into sources of drinking water. Cement dust can dry the skin and cause alkali burns when in contact with water. Precautions must be observed, because these burns occur with little warning or heat. The affected area should be washed with water or vinegar. Use barrier creams, gloves, boots, and sufficient clothing to protect the skin from prolonged contact with cement. After working with cement, workers should shower with soap and water. All containers on site should be labeled appropriately. Do not open, use, or dispose of any substance without reading and understanding the Safety Data Sheet, or SDS. If you have any questions, please contact your CalPortland representative. Immediately report any spills of hazardous material to the control room operator at the number shown here. Do not use your cell phone while walking. Stop and find a safe place away from hazards and out of the flow of traffic. The use of cell phones, headphones, or other electronic devices while operating mobile equipment is strictly prohibited, unless the vehicle is safely parked. Be alert and remain clear of mobile equipment. Make sure the operator knows you are there. Haul trucks, loaders, forklift trucks, water trucks, and other large mobile equipment always have the right of way. Seat belt usage is mandatory at all times when the vehicle or equipment is moving. Operators must sound the horn prior to placing equipment in motion. 2 times for forward, and 3 times for reverse. Never park close to large mobile equipment or walk between running equipment. The speed limit is 15 miles per hour in the plant, and 25 miles per hour in the quarry. Always chock your wheels when parked, and watch out for pedestrians while driving. Contractor parking is available to the west of the administrative office building. The number of vehicles in the plant must be kept to a minimum. Be sure to discuss this with your CalPortland representative. Please stay in your designated work area while performing work in the plant. Pre-shift inspections, fire extinguishers, and emergency backup alarms are required, when appropriate. Watch out for slip or trip hazards when exiting a vehicle. Traffic in both the limestone and shale quarries is tightly controlled. Always check with the quarry office before entering or working in the area. A radio, on Channel 2, or an escort will be provided. Travel only in the areas that you are authorized to travel in. The traffic patterns at the plant and shale quarry are right-hand while the traffic pattern at the limestone quarry is left-hand. Always be alert and aware of your surroundings. Stay clear of moving equipment. Do not walk behind or between moving vehicles. While operating a vehicle, obey all railroad crossing signs on the shale quarry access road. Do not park on or within 25 feet of the tracks. While on foot, there are only 2 places to cross the railroad tracks. Flashing lights at the south end of the pack house will indicate that rail car movement is in progress. Always make eye contact with the locomotive driver before proceeding. Make sure to look both ways when crossing the tracks, as rail cars can be surprisingly quiet as they are being moved around the yard. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is required at all times in the plant and quarry. A hard hat, hard-toed safety shoes, and safety glasses fall under this category. Use hearing protection in posted areas or other areas if needed. Wear an N95 rated dust mask when exposed to dust, or a respirator if appropriate. In place of safety glasses, goggles or a face shield can be used. Wear a Coast Guard approved personal flotation device, or PFD, while within 10 feet of water where the danger of falling exists. Your CalPortland representative can provide PPE for you. Be alert and remain clear of operating machinery. No machinery should be operated without guards securely in place. Be sure to put any guarding that is removed back into position and secure it. Do not work around any machine, or perform work on any machine, that has not been stopped and blocked to prevent movement. This includes, but is not limited to, conveyor belts, rollers, compressors, and mills. If the machine is powered by electricity or another form of energy, the power source must be switched off, locked out, and tagged out. All stored energy must be released prior to starting work. Always use 3-point contact while climbing. Use handrails on stairs and walkways. Exercise caution while getting in or out of your vehicle, and while stepping over or around an obstacle. Take extra precaution when walking on or around raw materials, such as clinker, gypsum, or limestone, as they pose potential slip or trip hazards. Always use fall protection equipment where appropriate. Discuss requirements for donning harnesses and lanyards with your CalPortland representative. A 100% tie-off is required. Be aware of any potential overhead hazards or falling objects. Note the position of overhead power lines in your working area. Do not operate lifting devices within 15 feet of overhead cables. Never go underneath a power line with your equipment's bed raised. Also take note of any nearby vertical structures, and look for any potential falling material hazards. Never walk under a suspended load. Obey no smoking or open flame signs in areas where flammables exist. Keep all flammables in approved containers and stored properly with appropriate signage. Note the locations of, or have fire extinguishers on hand prior to performing hot work. No firearms, illegal drugs, or alcohol are permitted on the property. In the tower, a light will flash during cleaning or in the event of a cyclone plug. Only authorized personnel may enter the preheat tower at this time. During a plug, do not use the elevator, evacuate the building using the stairs. Entry into the cold building is not permitted while the red light is flashing. Contact the control room for permission before entering the cold building at all times. Avoid areas where excessive welding fumes or engine exhaust are present until properly ventilated. Avoid areas where welding operations are being conducted unless authorized to work in the area. Never look at the welding flash. Plan your work ahead of time, and always use the correct tools for the work at hand. Ensure that any tools are in good condition. And never modify any tools. Avoid working outside during extreme weather conditions whenever possible. These include thunderstorms, heavy rain, hail, or high winds. Be sure to stay hydrated while on site, as Reading summers can be harsh, and heat stroke can become a factor. Take extra caution in the event of snow or ice. There are a few locations around the plant that use low levels of nuclear power. These are clearly marked with radiation signage. Do not tamper with this equipment. If you suspect problems, leave the area and contact your CalPortland representative. Do not attempt to enter any area where unsafe ground conditions or high walls exist. Mobile equipment that is in an unsafe area must be moved or towed to a safe location prior to servicing. Be alert for high voltage equipment, switches, breaker boxes, and transformers. Only authorized, properly trained personnel shall work on high voltage equipment. In the event of an emergency, our designated assembly area, near the administrative building, is indicated on this map with a 1. Assembly Area 2, the upper boneyard, is an alternative, should circumstances dictate that Area 1 is unsuitable. This concludes the CalPortland Reading site-specific safety presentation. Please sign and date your handout to signify that you have completed this training. If you have any additional questions, you should speak with your CalPortland representative. Thank you for paying attention.